Boxing on Channel 5. Defending his name, his legacy. Harlem Eubank, battling his way up the super lightweight rankings. Can he remain undefeated? Big Fight Live, Eubank versus Usyk, Friday at 10 on Channel 5.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Your boss is he still your boss, yeah?
Yeah, of course, yeah, he's my boss.
Okay, fair enough.
Are you going to sit in the camera this time or not?
No. NC Joshua, first of all, how are you?
Get that fucking mic out my mouth. You think I'm joking? Got it in my tonsils. Trezora's a nutcase, isn't he? Oh, God. I'm good.
Well, Chizora's out.
What did you think? Do you actually practice boxing, your defense and stuff like that, in case...
In case Chizora wants to hit me over the head with a camera? No, definitely not.
I saw that.
All right, we survive another day. How are you, first of all?
All good, broski. Wish I was at home, but we're here.
You wish you was at home?
Yeah.
Explain that.
This is just like for entertaining, isn't it? This ain't every day. I prefer just normal stuff. But this is just like all the hype.
This has been your life for how many years? Like 11, 12 years?
I've wished I was at home every time I've been there. I think this is long. You know, it's part and parcel. It's part of the game. You know. So yeah, it's got to be done. I'm obliged to be here, and I get to see you.
Wonderful comment.
Yeah.
You seem in a different mood. I can't work out your mood this week.
I'm trying to figure out my mood and my personality.
Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
Rub the crystal ball. What pops up? What mood am I in? What personality am I coming with this fight?
I think you seem like you're up for it this week. You're up for it every week, as in when you're fighting, but you seem like there's something there. I don't know what it is.
Nothing.
No?
No. It's another day at the office. What's it? 3 more nights sleep. Get to go to work again, and then it will be done.
Just routine for you?
Honestly, that's how I've always looked at it. It's just routine. And it's crazy, as I said, like I started 10, 11 years ago, and look how fast it's gone. So just living day by day, week by week, month by month, and so on and so forth. Just loving life. But as I said, this is just obligations. But I wish I was at home or at the gym practicing or in the ring fighting. But we've got to do all this other stuff in it, promote the fight.
Has this become the most important fight of your career now?
No. With all due respect. Not about Franklin. But I would say they're all important. But if you look at the scale of things in reality, like the Klitschko one was massive. Unification Heavyweight Championship of the World fight, that was massive. So no. If you're going to be honest, it's important because it's the next one. But if you wanted to look, let's say we look back at the end of my career, no, this isn't the most important.
Before the second Usyk fight, there were people saying that if you didn't win that fight, you'd have to call it a day, right? Now they're saying again, if you don't beat Franklin, basically you've got to call it a day. Now I've seen you make some comments, but I've seen your interview on GMB this morning saying that.
Oh, you watched mine?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay,
I watched it, yeah, of course. But I've heard you say that's not really your mentality, but you're kind of giving the people what they want to hear.
It's not what they want to hear, but I'm not going to sit there. I don't debate with people about my career. Like, I should tell you, KUGAN, you ain't hit 1 million views in a week. You need to stop doing your IFL TV. You're going to be like... I know it's a fair comment, but...
All right, DAZN, calm down.
Yeah, but it's like, are you going to sit there and debate with me? I'm not going to feed you that energy. I haven't got the energy for it, to be debating why I shouldn't and the facts of the stats of other people that have come back, and I just don't entertain it. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I will retire if I lose. And that just puts an end to the conversation.
Yeah, but I feel that. I feel like who's anyone's right to tell you when you should retire?
That's how I feel. But if someone's kind of suggesting that, they've obviously got it in their head. So for me to come up with a different opinion means that we're now getting into a conversation about why I maybe should or why I maybe shouldn't, which I don't have the energy for. That's why I just said to the person, okay, if I lose, I will retire. Next question, please. I don't really get involved in the banter and all. I try and... Yeah. Remember, a lot of these people ain't my mates. So I don't really get involved in the banter and conversation with them. I just kind of keep it moving. It's like, because the camera's in my face, it don't mean it's a green card to start acting out of character and start acting a certain way. I just chilled. I'm proper chilled. I'm obviously different outside of the cameras in my face and with the lads and with my family, but I'm not going to debate with someone about my career who has no real understanding of where I'm trying to go, what I'm trying to do. Like, I don't really, even though we do interviews, I don't have a clear view of what your plan is for IFL TV. So for me to tell you, if you don't hit this amount of numbers, you should retire. You're like, you don't understand like the vision or where we're at in our progress at the minute. So how are you going to advise me what to do? That's sometimes how I feel.
No, I hear that. Like if you gave me advice on IFL TV, I'd listen to it and maybe take it on board if I see it fit.
Feel, yeah, exactly.
If not, but I would think probably stick to what you do best and punch people in the face.
Agreed. That's sometimes what I think, yeah.
Undoubtedly this week, obviously, everyone is chucking questions to you about Tyson Fury still. That's nothing new. Yeah. But you have made comments this week where sometimes you're a bit maybe reluctant during fight week to really talk about the situation of Tyson Fury, but things seem different.
Up to date with it this time. Been interesting.
Who's to blame that fight isn't happening in your opinion?
I think that's a bit childish for me to be. Oh, he's to blame, she's to blame. Next question.
Okay. So you don't blame it on anyone then?
I think it's just childish. It's like, it sounds like we're in the school playground now. He did it, she did it, he did it. People have their own opinion of who's to blame. I don't need to kind of give you my opinion on that. I think if we done a poll, people know who's to blame. So next question.
Okay. Your promoter, who's standing over there, did state to me around a month ago that he didn't feel like this fight would take place.
Which one?
Fury and Usyk. Okay. And he also said that if that fight wasn't to take place on April the 29th, that he would open negotiations with Frank Warren, George Warren, whoever's relevant, in order to make that your next fight. Touch wood, you come through the fight on Saturday night.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about that?
I think we need to address him as the best promoter in the world. I rate him highly as a promoter, and I really respect the fact that he's trying to put on one of the biggest fights in the heavyweight division. That's all it is. He's just doing his job. When I work with Matchroom, it's because they could present me the best fights at the time, and they've always been doing that along my career. So Jermaine Franklin is the best opportunity, the best fight I have in front of me. I'm going to take that, I'm going to do my best, and then we'll look at what's in the future after Saturday. But as my promoter and their team, they're obviously planning like months ahead. I really admire the fact that he's got his eyes locked in on the next big event, because what else would I be getting in the ring for? You might as well make it well worth it and make them big fun events.
I appreciate you bigging up your promoter there with his efforts to land.
Do you rate my promoter?
Your promoter?
You heard what I
I'd
said.
say he's one of the best promoters in...
One?
Yeah, one, yeah.
Who's better?
I'm just saying he's one of the best... What?
Who's the other?
Don't shy away. If you want to come and talk, come and talk. They can't hear you, Edward.
Who's the
They
other?
can't hear you, Edward. I'm just saying he's one of the best promoters in world boxing. Definitely in the UK and definitely in Essex, he's the best promoter.
Who would you say the best is?
Come here, Ed. Come round here.
He said he's shy.
Pull up a chair, Edward. Okay, can you just make comment on what I just said there about your... I know you're...
Being the best promoter in all.
That one, well, that's a given. Don't mean to be rude, but I like... Who else can even compete on a global level? But anyway, that's a given. Regarding the Fury fight, it's just, you know, that's what we've always wanted to do. I just feel that sometimes timing's everything, and his job is Jermaine Franklin. He was quite right. Our job is to look beyond that. And if there's an opportunity, I think I just said to the media, it's better that we just work behind closed doors on that fight. If I mentioned to AJ about the Fury fight, I'm sure I know how much he wants that fight, but at the same time, he'll probably go, yeah. And Fury might say something else. So it's just behind closed doors, and then get to a stage where we can present them with that. All completely irrelevant at the moment, because the only thing that matters is Saturday night. Yeah. And that's the focus. And you know, I want him to put a performance together that he deserves. And when he does that, there'll be so much pressure to make that fight. I think there'll be a problem for people who don't want to make that fight.
Okay, but you've had this all the way through your career. You haven't fought Tyson Fury yet, and you've had the...
From the time I turned pro. From the time I turned pro, yeah, he's been trying to set me up in these fights. But it hasn't happened yet, as you said.
Who's to blame for that?
I ain't going to get into the he said, she said. No, but it just hasn't happened, but it will. I believe it will. And when I said I feel like he needs me, is because the other fight fell through, and there's probably a demand for who's next. Like people saying who's next, and I think I'm a good candidate. You know what I mean? So I think this is a good time to kind of put that pressure on. But that's where my mind is. Like people, I'm sure Franklin's thinking about, I want to become heavyweight champion of the world. If I can beat him, this is where I'm going. So I'm thinking about, if I get through this guy, he's dangled a carrot in front of me. I'm chasing that.
I'll say one thing before I go. When AJ boxed Alexander Usyk, the split was already determined by the order of the mandatory. It was 25%. He didn't have a belt. He was just a challenger in the heavyweight division. AJ took it on the chin because he wanted to be undisputed. He said, okay, fine, 75-25. He beat AJ twice. He unified the division. And Fury just offered him an extra 5%. The biggest payday of Alexander Usyk's career so far is bigger than the biggest payday of Tyson Fury's career. And on that, I bid you farewell.
Okay. All right. Very confident talk from allegedly the best promoter in Essex. Yeah. But listen, a point he makes and you make there, this is all irrelevant because Saturday night is really, it's relevant, but at the moment, until Saturday night's out of the way.
When you're conquering, you're always thinking about where you're going next, but you always have your eyes on the prize. That's just how we are, isn't it? So yeah, it's like Monday, you start work on Monday, but you're planning for the weekend. Just how we are as humans. So yeah, I've got my eyes on the prize firmly, but I understand what the landscape is.
Okay. Just one more. I'm going to chuck both these names in the equation.
Yeah.
Do the fights with, first of all, Joyce. This was mentioned.
Yeah.
Does that interest you? And obviously the ever-ending question of Deontay Wilder. Does that interest you?
Yeah.
And also Dillian White. This rematch.
So, Dillian White, not so much, but it is what it is. Joyce interests me the most. And Wilder interests me, but because I feel like this situation with like Fury and Wilder, it's just been back and forth. I would leave that to my team. I like the Joyce fight as well. I think that's one that interests people, and Joyce is from the same country as me, so it makes sense.
Okay. Absolute last one.
Yeah.
I spoke to Derek James on Monday, and when we were talking about implementing possible changes to you, he said it's not going to be about changes, it's about adding to what you already have. So how's that relationship developing?
It's like me being 6 foot something and then someone saying, nah, you got to now learn how to roll and bob and weave like Mike Tyson. That's changes. Adding to what I have is looking at my attributes and complementing them, and that's what I think a good coach does, is look at what your strengths are and add to them. I rate him as the top trainer. I'm happy to be in the world-class boxing gym. And whatever happens in my career, like, it's on me, innit? I've got to do the right things. My coach can tell me what to do, but I've got to go out there and do it. But he's given me good advice. I trust his guidance, and I'm happy where I'm at. And if he takes me back on after this fight, I'll be back out in Texas training. So, yeah, I think I found a new home, potentially.
Okay, press conference is about to start. No, you're good. No, press conference is about to start, so I don't want to take time away from that. Nancy, Joshua, get the job done this week, and we'll speak after.
Thank you, Broski. Appreciate it.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,